Playing a soundbite from Ms. Romer's interview earlier today and getting your reaction to it. So let's listen to that soundbite.
We have seen perhaps the consumer sector stabilizing. We have perhaps seen the housing sector start to stabilize. So we're absolutely going to be watching those to see if there are more of those glimmers of hope. You know, obviously, if we come to the summer or the early fall and those glimmers of hope haven't started to turn into real outcomes, we're obviously going to have to be reassessing and thinking about where we need to go.
And Congressman, I wanted to get your thoughts. Are you seeing any glimmers of hope in the economy?
Well, you know, we're all hopeful, but the numbers didn't look good this month. They are not going to look good next month. We aren't seeing consumer confidence increasing. The new centerpiece of the president's plan, the tax cuts, the $1.10 a day that kicked in this week, most consumers don't even know it's there. I don't see improvement there. So it doesn't look good at this point. We're all hopeful, but not a lot of good news.
And Congressman, of course, that begs the question then, what's the GOP strategy? What would you do differently?
Yeah, I think rather than do this little $1.10 work tax credit, I would lower the 5% and 10% brackets across the board, which would jumpstart about $3,000 a year in the family's budget. I'd focus on small business job creation, but I think maybe more than anything, consumers just have no confidence in Wall Street, in the bailout, really in Congress. Trying to get that turned back around would be my priority.
Congressman, do you think we're getting close to a bottom here? Were you encouraged at all by some of the comments that were coming out of that communique at the G20 summit in London, world leaders saying that they want to get together and now try to tackle this global economic downturn?
You know, I think they made some important statements on protectionism, on export financing, I think, which could really help create jobs around the world, here in the United States as well. You know, I think the fact that they're trying to coordinate some of the financial regulation is helpful. I don't think it turns the recovery around much. I'm not sure it injects much confidence, but anytime you put them together, it's helpful.
Representative Brady, this is Carol Masser here with Mark. I want to ask a question. You mentioned about the lack of confidence among consumers. No doubt about it. The economic statistics bear that out. But what about the enthusiasm we've seen in the stock market? Certainly investors are much more upbeat. They've certainly been putting money back into stocks. We've seen stocks up for, 3-4 weeks in a row here. Do you think that's misguided? That optimism is wrong?
You know, I think we have had so many bad numbers just continuing to decline that even at leveling off seems hopeful. I think we're all hopeful that we're hitting rock bottom. It doesn't, from what the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed us today, that doesn't appear to be the case. But again, even a sign that the decline is slowing down some, I think helps bring investors back into the market, helps the stock market. So, you know, again, glimmers of hope are still hope.
Now, you talked about some of the measures that maybe you think would make more sense here. I mean, do you also think at this point we've done so much to help out the financials, we've been helping out the automakers, we've got to do much more to help out the average Joe, folks like you and me?
You know, I think we do. And one of the things that I think worries people is just the whole state of government itself. And between the Fed and the FDIC, Congress, the White House, we're just pushing so many pills down the economy's throat and almost saying, you know, every 5 minutes, are you healthy yet? Are you healthy yet? You know, at some point we've got to let some of these measures take hold before we launch new initiatives. It's very confusing to the public. Investors obviously are still on the sideline. I think slowing down, having a little more confidence in the whole approach would be helpful.
Congressman, we have a little less than a minute left. I wanted to ask you, you're on a 2-week break starting today. What should Congress's priority be when you come back?
It's still got to be the economy, and it's still got to be this growing debt. I think that's what worries, you know, small business people and families. Just see this crushing a burden of debt, this spending spree like truly people never imagined they'd seen in their lifetimes, and they want us to get a handle on that. Also, they're still not convinced that we know what is lurking on some banks' books,
right,
and they feel like we're going to see another second wave. That's a worry.
Congressman Kevin Brady of Texas, the ranking Republican on the Joint Economic Committee. Congressman, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Thousands of U.S. vets returning home to a tough job market. A look at how they are faring next when Bloomberg News continues after this break.
At Fidelity, traders learn from the pros. Say you want to backtest an entire portfolio of stocks. Market experts